When the rain taps on your window and the night grows darker than usual, ancient secrets begin to whisper through the wind. You're about to hear one of those stories that were never meant to be told. But since you're already here, stay till the end. Subscribe if you dare, and turn on notifications. The next story might just be about you. The old witch of the forest had been stalking the Petrov children for years. Every night she waited for the youngest of his children to turn 8 years old. According to her old traditions, he firmly believed that at that age the essence of the little ones was the most appetizing for his dark ideals. Endless nights she awaited the perfect moment in which the youngest child would have his 8 springs. Also, and above all, the fact of the little ones were alone at home. She had the full certainty that one day their curiosity would motivate them to go into the dark entrails of the old Blackwood Forest. Misha was the oldest. He was 10 years old. One day, Misha and Alina, tired of the limits imposed by their parents on their short lives, decided one day to go into the forest searching for adventure. Misha was obsessed with trees. Once he told his sister that he had heard them mutter each other. The old witch discovered that because she had some animals in her favor, they were enchanted. She noticed that they would go into the forest the next morning, a day after Alina's 8th birthday. So the witch enchanted much of the forest and was responsible for making a very striking and picturesque road for the children. A fascinating mirage. That day, Misha saw that the entrance to the forest was clear and looked like a garden filled with life, so he entered in it. Alina was also encouraged. She followed his brother. When they could see the witch's house, she was waiting for them at the door, immobile, with a relaxed face radiating motherhood. The house looked bright, like new. The dirty rags and the old woman's appearance were unveiled, clean and immaculate. The children were happy to see the woman. The way she dressed indicated that she was a tender grandmother in her 60s. No more, no less. "Oh, my children," she said in a honeyed voice. Come in, come in. I have just baked a pie." Alina expelled an incredible glare through her eyes and set out to run inside the place. But Misha was stopped. He threw a dismissive gesture towards the old woman. "Wait, Alina," Misha said, taking her by the arm. "We cannot enter the house of someone we do not know. Dad, he always says it." The witch shot a look of hatred towards the boy. The spell almost fell apart. "Baby, your parents know me. On many occasions I have brought them cakes and other delicacies," she finished with acuteness. Misha's heart beat violently. Now he understood who carried those cakes home in each of his birthdays anonymously. Which his parents always destined at the top of the cupboard. Caution, maybe? His memory lit up, driving him to dusty memories, to the limits in which he started to have conscious for the first time. Alina was confident. Misha followed her, never taking his eyes off the old woman who was leading them, smiling. "Here you are," the witch said. The children sat at the table. He brought them a strawberry pie. Misha just fiddled with the silverware. It was clear that he did not trust her. "Don't you want?" Alina asked. If you do not want, give it to me. She swallowed the 2 slices in a couple of bites. When Misha looked for their hostess, she had gone. He peeked through the windows of the house, which showed more and more sickly for time. In the outskirts, a huge, long gray hair rested on a thick black coat. Her hunched back tried to stand up, leaning on a cane she had in both hands. A soft blizzard swirled the brown autumn leaves around it. The horrible witch turned towards him, drawing a terrible and mischievous smile. Her nose was extremely aquiline. Her skin was pale, green. She looked like a dead man desecrated from a grave. Her long clawed hands expanded. She gave a laugh that brought down the windows, making them dust. Misha had all the horror of countless centuries in his face. "Brother, little brother," Misha heard. The voice was the same, but there was something similar to a bird of prey. Misha turned on his heels, slowly. Alina was a real chimerical creature. Her elongated limbs formed impossible angles. The position of these was similar to those of a spider. Misha could not tell what was on her skin. Were they black feathers like a raven's, or just thick, spidery hair? He could hardly see her eyes, the only human thing that had remained. Misha noticed his sister's tears and hugged her. She was in pain. He tried to get out, pulling his little sister's paw. The door gave resistance for a moment, then it was left open. The witch was not outside. They ran through the forest. Both were frightened, and the witch knew it. She knew it very well. It did not matter where they hid. She would find them by the beat of their terrified hearts. She could hear them clearly. More they struggled to run, more they had the slight feeling of going around in circles, aimlessly. The dim light of the forest was their only hope and consolation. They followed the light fervently. Sunlight fell faintly on the paths due to the leafy canopy of the trees. This gave a dull effect at dawn. Nuances of a weak emerald green trying to subsist in the depths of an immeasurable darkness. "No matter where you hide, I know where you are. I know!" Her frightful screams were heard in every corner of the forest. Many birds fled when they felt those screams approaching their nests. Conspiratorial animals, damned, bewitched, Misha thought. Both siblings got tired. "That is all. We're done, Alina." "I'm sorry, little brother. It's all my fault." "Forget about it. The most important is that I love you." Alina clung to her brother with both front legs. "I could smell your fear. I feel your resignation. Then, have you accepted it?" Their hope was becoming diluted, turning in reality. A heartbreaking reality. But a miracle appeared in front of them. A hole that a kind oak offered them as a hiding place. Inside the oak, they took a breath. Everything was silent, except for the wind out there whistling its melody. After a moment, Alina noticed that many leaves fell from the tree that sheltered them. She wanted to go out and inspect what happened. Misha took her from the spider back and restrained her with the little strength he had left. She felt attracted by the melody of the wind, by the crack of the branches that some extraordinary force exerted on the ancient tree. "Up here, my daughter." Let me possess your body and be one." The witch's voice was heard nearby. She had found them. Misha understood the witch's plan perfectly. She needed a new carrier. That battered body was no longer useful, and what better than a girl to then offer her spirit to Beelzebub in order to prolong her stay in this world? For that harpy, Alina was just a container. He and his sister held their breath. Then they could see the witch. Among the holes that let see the sky, like Alina, but without all that black on the skin bare and bruised like that of a dead person, huge with legs ending in sharp points, a perfect colossal mantis just above them. She looked triumphant, Herculean. They could see how she descended through the trunk of the tree. Its legs, in descent, covered the view to the gray sky, also its bulging belly in which a disgusting black mass contoured an orifice that came gurgling sounds. "Oh yeah, I feel fear! I feel fear! Beat, 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 little hearts! Fast, more fast!" The sharp legs came and went from the bark of the poor tree, making its branches shake. "It would be better to go out. Your death would not be cruel." The children had to make a decision before the worst of tragedies happens. Misha steeled himself and took his sister back, but the moment they set out to leave, the witch poked her hideous jaws into their hiding place. She opened her jaws, showing the sharp teeth from which hung long strands of saliva. Luck still protected them. The beast could not enter in the little hiding place. She struggled for a long time, tried to split the tree with its powerful legs, half saws, half knives. Misha and Alina tried to escape again, and this time they succeeded. A nightmare chase started. The witch was behind them. She would achieve them. The distance between them was very short. Her thirst for blood motivated her impetus. Alina saw that the revolutions in Misha's career had diminished. She knew, terrified, that he would soon stop running. "Come on up," Alina said hurriedly. "Come on up. You don't have more energy." Misha obeyed and mounted on her, as Alina jumped instinctively, dodging the witch's front blades by a hair. Suddenly, in front of them, the exit of the forest appeared. The path they had followed with such hope took pity on them. Time seemed slow, and the path infinite. Alina followed the same path. She jumped over the bushes of the trees, now hunched over. The beast ran screaming incessantly, tearing apart every obstacle. The influence of their spells arched the trees much more. They almost touched the ground. Some who were further away sent their broad roots over land, further encumbering their long way home. Suddenly, a fog appeared, slowing down Alina's speed. "Alina, this is the end," Misha said, resigned. "There must be an exit," Alina replied. "Well, dear," said the old witch, "now there is nowhere to go. Do you want to accept and join me so your brother can go and be saved?" She lied. "Never," Misha protested. "Whatever." She immediately articulated a roar similar to the majestic Black Panthers. The sound's effect caused an echo when it hit the wooden wall that surrounded them, then spread out into the forest. Trapped and having accepted their condemnation, the children stood still, waiting for death, like some docile lambs. The huge beast showed the longer canines protruding from her snout. She licked her lips, making visible the threads of saliva that fell in spurts on the floor thick with fog. The whispers of the trees were clearly heard. The roots rubbed together, danced macabrely behind them. Their ears interpreted what seemed whining. The roots in chorus lamented, and in the fog they were confused with spectral figures. For the witch, that was most familiar. She raised the blades to her target, and as soon as the beast launched herself into attack, pointed roots emerged from the ground, coming to rest on her jagged snout, finally piercing her head. The brains shot out, lost in the ghostly vapor. When she fell into the puddle of purple blood, they saw her blank eyes. The fog dissipated. The animals left behind their threatening features and returned to be the pure creatures of that Eden. In the distance, they could see how the witch's house faded to the beat of the fog. Sunlight leaked golden. The green pacified the terror for which they and all the beings of that forest had suffered so long. Alina took Misha from the shoulder, who finally could feel the warm and soft hand of his sister. He hugged her. The spell of the witch disappeared gradually. The place where she had fallen dead was filled with green grass. The trees returned to their natural position, but some roots awaited them. The roots of the other trees retreated back underground with their laments. The roots of that special tree guided them towards it. It was the oak that took pity on them. When Misha inspected it in detail, he could not hold back the tears and fell to his knees before the tree. Alina did not understand. In it were carved his initials, and under them a phrase that said, "For our beloved grandchildren, with love, your grandparents, Ilya and Nadia." After several years, in old age, Misha and Alina visited the old oak and carved their initials. A phrase in response could be read, "Thank you, grandparents. We will be with you soon, and our parents. Thanks for taking care of us beyond of the same death, by the murmurs in the forest. Eternally yours, Misha and Alina." No more was heard of the old witch. But through the generations it was always said that since her death, that day, a dense fog floods the Blackwood Forest and reaches the village of Green Hollow, and every villager must stay anywhere behind closed doors. It is unfortunate who dares to walk near or inside the forest, who remains without shelter and forget that day in the almanac. Their screams will be silenced by the roar of a feline killer.
The story is over, but silence doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes the scariest part begins when you think it's all behind you. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment what story you'd like to hear next. And remember, fear isn't just a feeling. Sometimes it stares back at you from the darkness.